Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, hello, Regis Kilman is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and this is a deck spotlight on a deck I'm calling the Netherspite Dragon Paladin, and this deck was created by the professional player and popular streamer Brian Kibler. This deck includes a couple new One Night and Karazhan cards that may have finally unlocked the Dragon Paladin archetype. Those are Netherspite Historian, a cheap card that's more about basically refilling your hand with dragons and sometimes just getting really big stuff and finding very specific answers to board situations depending upon what is drawn. So you can get a Chill Maw for the taunt, you can get a Ysera for the late game value. Sometimes you might just need an Azure Drake for card draw. This card gives you some flexibility thanks to its Discover effect, plus just in many ways extends the depth of your deck, the length of your deck, which can be good in a control style deck like this one with a lot of late game that has the answers to go late. It's also not the only Discover card in this deck, right? You've also got the Ivory Knight down here, so another way to essentially add additional cards to your list, like the name of the list, while also playing minions that are okay for the board at their given mana cost. So, you know, a 1-3 is a start to trading on the board and can sometimes kill 1 health minions from your opponent. And the Ivory Knight is a 4-4, so it's not the worst minion in the game either. But there's also, as far as the new dragons are concerned, the Bookworm, a 6-mana option that is really just a removal spell in many ways attached to a moderately sized body. It's a Shadow Word Pain attached to a 3/6, which is a good deal because it's only one card in your list, but also pretty powerful. Paladins have historically been forced to run the card Stampeding Kodo as a similar option. Here he is. You know, a 5-mana destroy minion with 2 or less attack. It's very similar to Bookworm in many ways. It worked well with Paladins because they don't really care about how much the attack is as long as it's over 1, the effect on Stampeding Kodo, because they do have the cards Aldor Peacekeeper and Humility, which both reduce a minion's attack to 1, so Stampeding Kodo met all their needs. Bookworm still meets all those needs, so it's not any worse than Stampeding Kodo, but it also has the ability to sometimes just kill stuff for 3 health. You know, since we're on the screen, it can occasionally kill the random Psychotron that your opponent's playing, which would indeed be a surprise, but bye-bye Psychotron. It's also a dragon, of course, so it gets cost reductions from Dragon Consort and activates any other dragon synergy cards while sitting in your hand, unlike Stampeding Kodo, whose tribe was a waste. So, seemingly a direct upgrade to what is often a core Control Paladin card in Stampeding Kodo. Bookworm just seems better for the class, and particularly this kind of deck, in every conceivable way, so I like that a lot. So those are the 2 new One Night and Karazhan cards that really impact this deck, Netherspite Historian and Bookworm, and they might just be good enough to enable this kind of deck. There's also the Ivory Knight, as I mentioned, another new One Night and Karazhan card, but not necessarily a dragon card. This is more of just a control card. It's life gain and resources all bundled into one. It can sometimes give you those big spells like Lay on Hands that can help you stabilize and win games by generating additional resources. But of course, the one card here that really has made people want to play Dragon Paladin since Blackrock Mountain is Dragon Consort, because it's such a big tempo card. It has a nice body as at its own cost, but still reduces everything else you play. Now, this is obviously not going to reduce the cost of any big dragons. You'll see that Kibler in this list has not included like Yseras and Alexstrasza's and all that stuff. So this is going to be more about getting some powerful mid to late game plays by playing multiple dragons at once. Getting that 2-mana Twilight Guardian out alongside your Tyrian Forging, for instance, could be a nutty taunt board swing, right? So it does stuff like that more so than it is about getting really expensive, scary dragons out on turn 7, for instance, or on turn 6. So interesting change. Now that said, even though this deck doesn't run all those late game dragons, I still think this is a control deck first and foremost. It's not a mid-range deck, despite a lot of its curve happening in the mid-range. And the reason for that is that it does run stuff like Wild Pyro Equality. It's got weapons like True Silver for removal. It's got Consecration, Keeper of Uldaman, Aldor Peacekeeper. These are all what I would call control cards, right? They're about keeping your opponent in check and addressing their resources. But your minions are rather mid-rangey, right? They're playing on curve in many cases, especially after turn 3, perhaps not before turn 3. You're a little limited and your options. You're not always going to have the Outlaw Peacekeepers and the Netherspite Historians to get out into the board early, but you do have a nice mid-range suite of cards, and you get very strong in the late game, of course, with all this heal and recovery. So the goal, honestly, is just keep up as best you can until the late game, at which point you start to heal and play big, scary minions, and you hopefully both stabilize your health total, but also stabilize the board in your favor. And the dragons along the way do two things essentially to help you do that. You've got taunts like Twilight Guardian, which force your opponent to trade through, and they move all the action into this body, which hopefully deals with smaller boards. You've also got cards like Blackwing Corruptor and Bookworm, which essentially address your opponent's board directly through either damage or direct removal. So they got a lot of little stuff. You can kill at least one thing with a Blackwing Corruptor. There's also the board wipes with Wild Pyro, Equality, and even Consecration that hopefully have enough stuff to live, kill your opponent's things, and stabilize behind your Tyrion, behind your Light Lord, behind your Ivory Knight, and then just win the game on sheer dominance of big, scary stuff. Sometimes, especially if it comes from Netherspite Historian. So, all that said, I think I've wrapped up what the deck is about and what it does and why it was designed this way. So let's go ahead and take the deck out onto the ranked ladder. Yes, I'm still ranked 15. Cut me some slack, guys. These videos are recorded ahead of time, right? So even though it might be, I don't know, like the 10th or the 11th or something when this video is released, I'm actually recording it earlier in the season than that, to some extent, and a few days earlier. And I just haven't played a ton, and the times I have played, I've been testing a lot of budget decks that have not been working out super well. So still at rank 15. We should win some games. We should start climbing. It won't last forever, I promise. We'll get back up to high ranks before too long. But that said, I don't think that is going to give this this deck a bad look at what it does. Right? I think we'll still get to see exactly what it's designed to do and how it plays. So as far as the mulligan's concerned, remember I said we don't have a ton of early game here. It's like Wild Pyros and Netherspite Historians on turn 2 and no 1-drops. So the Blackwing Tech and the True Silver are both pretty good answers. Even honestly, the Keeper's not bad, but with the Blackwing Tech, I really want to make sure I get a Dragon. And since I have a 3 and a 4 that I like no matter what, regardless of the Keeper, I do think I'm going to mulligan these and look more aggressively for a Dragon. It's very likely we get one by the time we get to turn 3, but just in case, see, like right now our Netherspite Historian's kind of dead. So we really need to find that dragon. Unfortunately, we did get the second True Silver, which is certainly a waste. Still no dragon, so I can't coin out the Netherspite, even though I'd like to contest this 2-1, because that's one of the best things it can contest. If he plays down a 2-drop that's a 3-2, this basically is going to die for free, which is very frustrating. So we're a little stuck. A little bit stuck. We could actually coin out the hero power, but we might also be able to coin out the Blackwing Tech next turn. So we'll just save it. We could coin out the Netherspite and just lose the Battlecry, since this is a hunter and we're unlikely to need some sort of late game minion. So see, this is exactly what we feared. This is a pretty tough scenario. We can actually now coin the Aldor on the Huge Toad to set up some potentially favorable board trades. The Death Rattles on these could make that rather awkward, but it's really the only thing we can play. A 2-4 Blackwing Tech is okay. It's not that exciting. Rather try to do what I can while I can. Still no dragon in hand. A little sad about that, but that's a risk you take with dragon synergy cards. Maybe we should have mulliganed the True Silver and just kept the Blackwing. That's certainly a possibility. He's just going to go face with everything. Wow. I did not expect to see that. A Consecration here would have destroyed him. A Wild Pyro is almost good, but not quite. So I'll kill things that I know I can kill. Actually, we could kill this, but that gives a chance this will die. Oops, not what I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and play the Blackwing Tech without a dragon. It's really, really, really sad that we haven't done a dragon yet, but so you got to do sometimes. So I mean, it still trades sort of okay into what we currently see, but it's susceptible to death. He's just going ham on the face. That might actually be good for me, right? Just because we do have heal. Still no dragon. It's okay though. So I think we're going to kill the Fiery Bat and the Abusive Sergeant. But first, we're going to buff our 3-1. Even though it's not really going to gain any attack, it's going to gain enough health that it can trade into a minion and survive, which is really, really important. And I had to do it first so that when I did this, if the ping hit here, it was going to kill it, perhaps. So that might actually be bad. I don't have a good heal until turn 6. Yeah, I can True Silver next turn to heal, but there's a chance we're dead by then. This is a straight-up face hunter. I think we're going to be able to clear his board, but God, we're down to 3. Go up to 5, so there's just a good chance we're dead. Thank God we can clear his board. It's going to be painful, but we can do it. And I can't use a minion. Cannot use a minion. I can't kill a minion with my weapon because I'd just take too much damage. I had to attack face to get as much heal as possible. So we're dead to a lot of stuff. Hero power any 3 attack minion. Oh, just kill commands. That's going to do it too. Yep. That's tough. That's tough. Super, super face deck. Probably not the best measure of what this deck is designed to beat. Particularly with what we had in hand. No dragons. Not that it would have mattered much, I guess, honestly. Not that it would have mattered much. It would have mattered because I would have felt okay playing the Netherspite. But maybe we could have done that anyway just to trade into the 2-1. Save some life. Alright, another Paladin. That's actually a rare sight to see, but we are at rank 16, so who knows what we're going to run into, right? This time around I'm going to keep my Dragon Activator. Remember, we don't really have any cheaper dragons, and we don't have cheaper minions to look for than Blackwing, so this is a sort of okay situation. Keeping a 5-drop in the mulligans is not often something you see. But I don't want to run into the same problem I had last time, which is no dragon, so this feels better. Still only 1 dragon. I need to go back and count how many dragons there are. It feels like we just can't find a dragon. Cannot catch a dragon break. Here's another one, so that's nice. So here, let's see. What do we want to do? We have the coin for the Wild Pyro, which I really like to have together because we don't have another spell to activate, so I don't want to coin out a 3-drop yet. Don't want to play the Wild Pyro on its own. I think we'll just hero power into his hero power. Probably a trade. Don't know what kind of deck this is yet. So it's more of an aggro paladin, or dragon synergy paladin. Nightbane Templar is a card we're not running, right? I think it's a pretty good card, but I think Kibler realized this deck is really more of a late game oriented card, and Nightbane Templar, despite how cool it affects the board immediately, it's much more early game card and doesn't fit exactly what this deck is trying to accomplish. So let's see, is there any way for us to deal with all this stuff? We can keep her down the Twilight Guardian. I think we'll just do that. Make it a 3-3, trade. We'll have two good minions that trade reasonably well into the board, so that feels okay. We could Twilight Guardian ourselves, but it doesn't really do anything, right? It doesn't kill the Twilight Guardian. He can kill it with what's on board and have 2 minions remaining. It doesn't really facilitate much of an attack here. We might as well just go ahead and utilize this. I don't know what other cards this guy's going to run. I mean, we could proactively trade and play our Twilight Guardian, but I don't really like that. I wish we could coin out the Bookworm and just kill this, but that's not going to happen. So I know that this Keeper is probably going to have better targets later on. Like, there might be a Tyrion and a Keeper or something. I get that, but I think it's more important for me to just stabilize, play value. So there's his Dragon Consort. Ours is coming out next. See, now he's in an awkward position as far as trades and stuff are concerned. What does he do? Does he go face? I don't think so. Probably trade, go face with the 2-3. That's what I would do. Go face with it all works too. Oh, that works too. Same difference, I guess. Values the dragons a little more. Yeah, so I guess we'll just Dragon Consort. I think that's fine. You can trade, but Could also True Silver 1/1 and trade this way. But at 5/2 is not that scary. We have Consecration, we have Wild Pyros. There's ways for us to kill a 2 health minion, so I don't really mind if he takes some value trades this way. Although, technically, actually, we don't have 2 spells for the Pyro right now. It's just theoretically possible, right? It's fine, he took the trade we didn't care about. Oh, that's why I escaped being the Dragon alive. Menagerie value. Where's the True Silver when you need it, man? This might actually be a fine turn to Ivory Knight, even though it sort of trades. Maybe we not, though. Maybe we just Aldor Bran. Bran into Ivory Knight would be nuts. Later, maybe we try to save that combo since you can execute it in 1 turn. Could just Twilight Guardian. Actually, Bran into Twilight Guardian's pretty good. It means our Bran's very likely to survive, and that our Twilight Guardian trades better into the Menagerie. Let's just try this. It's not the biggest Bran value ever, but I don't think we have to like outvalue this guy as far as generated resources are concerned. I think we just have to stay up on the board. He's clearly more board-centric. Until we get that Pyro equality, he's running equality on a board-centric deck. I didn't... Oh, well, Consecration helps it a little, but I'm still surprised to see that, honestly. I thought that Bran was going to be safe. Coin out Tyrion. That's typically not the worst play immediately after seeing removal. Yeah, I know there was a Wild Pyro coin play to kill this, and probably could have done something else. Ivory Knight into it, but when you got a Tyrion, sometimes you just gotta play the Tyrion. Like a 4/1 into the Divine Shield's not a big deal to me. He just used Equality Consecration, so I doubt he has another way to break this Divine Shield. Doesn't have much of a board, so this is one of those instances where you don't just play Tyrion to die and get the weapon. You actually think Tyrion is going to get some value as a minion. Outlaw Peacekeeper. Okay, well that doesn't actually change much as far as the board's concerned. I don't really care. Alright. Not the most exciting turn I've ever seen. We'll just take it slow and easy here. Play some more guys out. We're in a good spot. Could have Dragon Consorted, but there's no Dragon in hand, so that doesn't really mean anything. I kind of need to... Nice! Full-on Menagerie Paladin. I like that. I want to see that deck win. I want to see it work. I'm not sure it does, but by God, I want to see it. So now I kind of regret using this for tempo. I could have used it for removal, right, with the Aldor into the Curator. Right now I'm going to have a little bit of trouble killing the Curator. I only have 5 damage on board. I can... I can't even really Wild Pyro, right? Just because I don't have any spells, so... Let's see what we get from the Azure Drake here with this card draw, and then we may just Aldor and make some non-efficient trades. We could also Ivory Knight into a Secret and then play Wild Pyro Secret and kill his board. But I don't really want to get a Secret out of this. I want more value, so that doesn't really feel right. Consecration is the perfect answer. Cool. And it's even got spell damage. So good draw, Azure Drake. Well done, sir. Well done. Thank you for the service. Huh. So he's up to 7 cards in hand thanks to that Curator. I actually didn't watch. It looked like he drew 3 cards probably, given how many he has in hand. So there may be some Murlocs in there. Or maybe the Corrupted Seer. Maybe a Sir Finley. Not sure what all this list runs. Plus for rank 16, this is like practically wild format down here, guys. You never know what to expect or what to see. True Silver can't do that much work. True Silver with some Murlocs can. So this is now this has the leanings of a Anyfin deck. But it's not a very scary Anyfin yet, given there's only 2 minions on board. It's had the removal too, so it's Dragons and Anyfin and Curator and Menagerie. I don't know. This actually looks a lot like the Paladin Menagerie deck experiment I did so far, but I don't know if that deck. I tried that out and it wasn't working too well, so I don't know if that deck's good yet. I think we'll just commit a little bit to the board, not a ton, but enough, and just start pressuring face. Save some minions in case there's another board clear. We did see equality already, so there might be another equality board clear coming, and this is more than enough to win us the game. So there's really no reason to go ham with minions here. Like, we could have fit in a dragon consort, sure, but it's my only dragon. Save some value minions. Yeah, so here's the Ivory Knight too. So this does just feel like an Anyfin Paladin in some ways. We need to watch carefully how much he's going to heal for. That will tell us what the spell was, probably, or very close to it. 0. So that looks like a... That indicates it's a Forbidden Healing. Can we win the game this turn? We have 8, 5, 8, 10, 9, 10. We're 2 damage off. We get a Consecration off of Ivory Knight, we can win the game. We need a heal anyway, so let's try this. Let's just see what we get out of this Ivory Knight. Right, let's double check. 5, 8, 9, 10. So any 2 damage spell wins us the game. Hammer of Wrath also wins the game. These don't. As far as the actual cards are concerned, I think I like... You know, honestly, Holy Light might be the best option here. We have enough minions in Discover. I don't really care about Light in the Darkness. You guys might like this. This keeps another guy alive. Let's go ahead and throw this out. I was gonna Hero Power, but oh my god. I don't really see an advantage to that. Let's just go for consistency. This was really just about finding another dragon. Using it while I had the mana and the dragon in hand. It's not always possible to do that if I had to play a dragon consort for some reason. We could have gone to face there, right, instead of clearing the board, but he drew a Forbidden Healing, so he's going to heal like 20 this turn. So that didn't feel right. Since we didn't draw lethal in the Discover. Which is sad, we had a pretty good shot at it. He's thinking, do I heal or do I go for board? I think you heal. That's the Forbidden Healing right there. Alright, I'm a little hesitant to keep filling up the board, but this is really more about heal and Discover than it is let's count how much damage we have. 1, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15. This could actually give us 19 damage this turn to take him down to 11, but that doesn't really do much. Competitive Spirit would be insane if this board survived. I think I like Consecration, though, just because it is direct damage, which could be relevant, and it's a board clear, which could be relevant. And it works nicely with Wild Pyro sometimes. Blessing of Kings does as well, but this combo does 3 damage to the board instead of 1 with Blessing of Kings. I guess we save the weapon charge. I don't think it's in risk of dying. So we gotta worry about Anyfin stuff maybe soon. He might only have Anyfins off the Ivory Knights, though. There may not be a thing that we see off of... Oh, that doesn't have Taunt. Is that just game? Oh, I should have used the weapon. I think we'd have lethal. Should have used the weapon. This was a, 1 in 13, though, because we already have 1 True Silver. So, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 18. Yeah, we would have had lethal if we'd weapons. No way to know that, though. Let's count one more time. See if we are not missing anything. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 18. I can't attack twice, so this won't do it. This doesn't help me any. So I think we try to piece apart his board as much as possible, and then this is going to take that to 6. I don't really have a good way to do 6 without using my face, so we'll probably have to Aldor. I actually want board space, so I want some of these minions to die, but I'm going to kill them here, of course, so that this has more health. And then we'll go face as much as possible. Do we want a hero power? I guess so. Yeah, shouldn't hurt too much. So now he's in a tough spot again. I know it feels like we could have won the game a couple times already. Ugh, more heals. God almighty. Anyfin is pretty scary here, honestly. So we don't have a taunt. And it heals him for 10, so we may not have the damage we need. I don't think he has, or it would have been a snap pick. He healed for 2. That's can't possibly... Oh, Holy Light helps, though. This is like the most annoying stall game ever. So let's see. I just realized we had 1 extra damage last turn if we wanted with the Azure Drake spell damage on the... But that still didn't give us enough. I think we were 4 short, so... 3, 4, 5, 9, 12, 13, 17. Oh my god, really? I'm gonna see if this gives me lethal somehow. I can't imagine a way it does. No. This is sort of annoying, I gotta say. Alright. Still gonna play it sort of safe. He can't possibly have more heals this time, guys. Like, come on. He's got 3 cards in hand. What could happen? This is taking forever. We're just bleeding each other out. Yeah, we should have went face with the, we would have won the game already. We're obviously going to win now, but we would have won the game already if we'd just gone face with the Ashbringer. When you're deciding on a weapon, that's really always your conceit, like what you're thinking about, is like, by attacking now, what are the 2 things that can happen? If I do damage to face, I lose the ability to kill a minion with a weapon later. So it's sort of a lack of value, but additional pressure. Which is an easier decision if you know you have another weapon in hand. Like if I had had the True Silver in hand, obviously I would have attacked with the Ashbringer, because that means I can equip the True Silver next turn. But we only have like a 1 in 13 draw to get the True Silver, because we'd already used 1. So it's like a 1 in 13 chance that mattered. So was it more important to look for the 1 in 13 chance at lethal, or was it more important to save that resource to potentially kill a minion and preserve my board value additionally? So it's a debate, right? It's a back and forth. It's a tough call. In hindsight, obviously, we know that it was wrong, I guess, to keep the Ashbringer, because the next card was the True Silver, but that doesn't make it a wrong decision. That just makes it a wrong hindsight assessment. You know, going back, I probably still would have made the same decision multiple times there, just because I don't like wasting weapons, as I would call it. It's not really a waste, obviously, but you get the idea. Since we do have 2 Netherspites here, even though it's probably going to die for free, I'm just going to do it anyway, since we can do it. It does slow down my Aldor, but I actually think I care more about the Aldor against a Flamewreath Faceless than I do against a Tome Trunk. So, I guess Chill Maul is actually going to be the best minion here. It's a little slow, but we have a 2, 3, 4, 5 already. So these cards don't really necessarily slot in. And the taunt and the AoE could both be very valuable if we get to this point in the game. There's a chance we never get this far because we just lose, because Shaman is Shaman and it does annoyingly stupid things. But if we do get that far, it could matter a lot. So Ugh. We're missing a turn 6. This is pretty good against Shaman, so we're going to take this. Gonna go ahead and trade this in to do awkward stuff, just because that's a consecration target now. Also, the 3/4 doesn't really want to trade into this. The Trog could, and he could trade, but that means he's not hitting our face, which is good. So there are some advantages to doing that, even though it doesn't really accomplish anything right away. It just makes him think about future turns and stuff. And Shaman doesn't have a good way to do 1 damage, so it's not like he's gonna ping it off, right? So basically, you see what that did? That meant he had to attack the other 1/3 with the Totem Golem, because otherwise they were going to kill the Tunnel Trog together. So just by making that attack, we saved ourselves 3 damage. Like, yeah, we lost a minion, but that was the point of the minion. It's to heal and to chip away at our opponent a little bit. Here is a harder dilemma. I don't really have a good attack target here. I guess we'll signal Consecration even though we don't have it by attacking like this. This clearly signals Consecration because everything's at 2 health and we're going into turn 4. So he might be really scared to play a 2 health minion if he's thinking about that. I kind of just sacrificed that 1/1. It didn't accomplish much, honestly, because the 3/3 could have traded into the 1/3 anyway. But I think what's going to happen is he's going to kill this with a Rock Bite or a Lightning Bolt or a Tunnel Trog. So it might change his line of play a little bit, and I'm going to lose this resource anyway. Okay, he's going to trade in because he's worried about Consecration. Alright, so... There's also always the chance you just top tag it. So we'll kill what we can kill here with the True Silver. It's actually not a bad turn. This Tunnel Trog's a little bit scary, but we can always True Silver it next turn too. And we can play the Azure Drake, and I probably will. The Twilight Guardian, maybe, depending on what he does. We don't have an answer for a Flame Breath right now. That's the problem. We used our Aldor for board. That was one risk of using the coin. So that's kind of scary. But we'll deal with that if it comes. We can stall with the Twilight Guardian for a turn, but then we still wouldn't have an answer, so we'd have to find something to do. The Bookworm's coming up. I don't think he has the Flame Wreath, or it would have just been a snap play. There's no way he waits. He waits that long on a Flame Wreath. We still have yet to see an actual Pyro Equality combo come together. Alright, so no Flame Wreath, that's good. Looks like might be a thing for below, though. Yeah. So actually the Consecration trade here is sort of good, right? Helps me kill the thing from below. The only thing that's left is a 2/1 Tunnel Trog, which isn't all that scary. And none of these other plays feel right? Because otherwise my weapon is just totally denied if I don't do this. This is the only way to get my weapon value this turn. And yeah, we're going to take some face damage from it, clearly, but face damage is really one of the smaller of my concerns, because I have a lot of heals. I really just need to make sure the board stays in check. We've got Tyrion coming, we've got some taunts coming. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, face damage is scary. I don't like it, but... No, that's actually really good. This is a pretty aggro deck. I'm surprised he's not climbing a little faster. Do we want to Ivory Knight, or we just want to go for the Bookworm here? We can Bookworm the Direwolf. It's currently worth 4 attack. This is worth, right now, 3 attack the next turn, 2 attack permanently. But it could be worth more. But he's only got 2 cards in hand. He can't possibly buff this that high. The problem with the Bookworm now is that we have a good turn 7 and a good turn 8 as far as like staying alive stuff is concerned. So this removes 4 damage. How much does this heal is the question. Does it heal more than 4? Most of the time, yes, I think. There's always a 4 health heal. So it dies to the board, but it sets up for a really nice chill maul with all this stuff to kill. So let's just go ahead and try this. I mean, let's take whatever big card we can get. Consecration's actually really good. It's not the biggest heal, but it's a board clear probably, or close to it. So I need to live through like the next turn or two, and we should stabilize. Chill Maw is going to help a lot in that regard. He's trading in, which I don't hate at all. He's going to like Rock Biter it. Oh no, that's a good play. Consecration's actually really good still here. We can't play anything with it though is the problem. But I might have to do it just because there's so much stuff to kill. Wild Pyro would have been a good thing to see. I guess actually Chill Maw's still fine. It does the same thing as Consecration. The only thing that would live is the Argent Squire. So let's just stick to the plan. Hex, I guess, ruins me, but this deck's not running Hex with all this aggro stuff. There's just no way it's running Hex. So this is you know, a 3 damage Consecration basically. It's gonna Lightning Bolt my face. Okay, that's probably right. I don't have a heal right now, so we're very close to dead. I think we'll Consecration Twilight Guardian. Could Tyrion, I guess. But I actually like the other options better. I'd love to see one of my heals. I have like a bajillion cards and no heals right now. So we're dead to Lightning Bolt. Dead to Lava Burst. Dead to Fire Elemental, I guess. Not dead to Doomhammer. Not dead to any minions. Sir Finley is not killing me now, but the Hunter Hero Power sure would suck. Alright, that's actually totally fine. I don't care about that at all. That's not a problem. Oh, True Silver's a good draw. That's a heal. So let's actually draw a card first here. Yeah, we could Dragon Consort or Twilight Guardian. I don't think I need to. He's on 1 card draw. Keeper doesn't do much, but this is fine. Gonna clear that, obviously, because it's spell damage and it's scary, but also it's 0 attack, so it allows me to fully heal off this True Silver. Did he get the Lava Burst off the top? He did. Sucks. No. Cool. I can deal with that. Always. It's just literally always. Never seen it be anything else. Thankfully, we actually do have some ways to deal with this stuff. We're very, very close to stabilizing. Let's just play dudes. Attacking this way to maximize the amount of health on this. And actually, I think it's better to just go face here and heal to 7. That puts me out of range of a lot of different damage things. There's no need to kill this Silverhand Recruit right now. I mean, he could Flame Tongue, but even that's not enough to get through either of my taunts. So that's Lava Burst, it looks like. Oh, Lightning Bolt. Well, that still sets him up for a top deck. Oh, but he gave up. Nice. Okay, that was actually scary. That game was not locked up, because he could have top decked any damage spell. Or actually just one. Either Lava Burst if he's running it. Maybe he knew he wasn't running it, and that was his only out. But we were also just top decking a heal, right? We have Rag, Light Lord, and there were ways for us to heal. We had a damaged minion, but we could have killed that off most of the time. So, Rag, Light Lord was a heal condition. Plus, I guess we had one other Ivory Knight, maybe? I can't remember exactly what we saw in that game. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for me and the Netherspite Dragon Paladin by Kibler. I think it's a pretty cool deck. A little slow, as we saw with that Face Hunter. Like, some aggro matchups are just going to run you over. So against Shaman and Hunter, and sometimes even Warlock with a really fast Zoo start, you have to mulligan very carefully. You got to look for probably Consecrations, Wild Pyro Equalities, Albert Peacekeepers, and Blackwing Techs if you get them to, just because they do trade relatively well, but they're a little passive since they're not taunts. They don't force the action through them. They can sometimes just ignore the Blackwing Tech and just run through your face and kill you. So Blackwing Tech is not even really the best answer against super, super aggressive decks. So you might have to get those Wild Pyros, those Equalities, and those Consecrations, and Twilight Guardians even can help slow things down. But I don't think we saw a single Blackwing Corruptor. I guess we maybe played one, but felt like that wasn't an impact card. But Bookworm worked well. Netherspite seemed solid. We got that Chill Maw, which was very important last game. that was definitely the right choice there. That dealt with his board while still playing a good minion, so I didn't have to waste 3 mana with Consecration, basically. Chilmaw ended up in a great spot for us. Tyrion did some work. We didn't see Rag, but Ivory Knight felt good, Bookworm felt good, and Netherspite Historian felt good. So all the One Night in Karazhan cards did definitely have a positive impact. I gotta say, the Dragon Consorts didn't feel that good, because I'll tell you why. Because it felt like every turn we had to do something. Like we had to get a taunt, we had to answer their minions, and that's sort of what happens in a fast meta. You've got to react. You've got to be active. And this felt a little slow, despite the very positive tempo impact it has with the 2-mana cost reduction, the free Innervate basically on a dragon. It just felt like I never had time for that. Like, yes, I could Dragon Consort and get a cheap Twilight Guardian next turn, but I have to play the Twilight Guardian this turn. I have to keep her this turn. I have to Consecration this turn. So I think it's undoubtedly true that this card is good, but I just don't know it. At 5 mana, that's the point where you have enough mana to do stuff to the board. You can play the True Silver, you can play the Twilight Guardian, you can play the Corruptor, and it just feels like this never fits. I honestly think if this was like a 3 mana 2/2 that said the next dragon you play costs 2 less, this card would be way better. Because that means you could get your Twilight Guardian out of turn faster. You could get your Azure Drake out of turn faster. You could get your Bookworm out, as a 4-mana minion, or even on turn 3 with the coin. Like, you could do those high tempo plays faster. You care less about high tempo stuff when it costs you 5 mana to get that tempo advantage, to get only a 2-mana tempo advantage. This 5 mana is sort of dead. Like, it just sort of sits on the board as a 5/5. That's not bad by any means, but that aggro shaman would have just ignored my 5/5 and killed me. So who cares if my next dragon was cheaper? So, you're basically paying 5 mana for a small advantage later. The advantage doesn't typically come right away. So, I mean, sometimes it could, right? You could get a 3-mana Azure Drake and Hero Power and have a 10-mana turn, right? But that's still a late game scenario. On turn 5, it's a 5-mana penalty for a slower, later advantage. A delayed gratification, as we might call it in psychology. So, too slow, frankly, for this deck. And maybe a lot of decks, I don't know. Or at least this meta, I should say. Not this deck, but too slow for this meta. So I don't love Dragon Consort. Maybe that's why this card has just never quite fit and never been able to make Dragon Paladin a thing. I feel like you could cut this and just run more of a control dragon with some more control pieces. Like, would it hurt to cut Dragon Consort and just add in, like, a Chilmaw? Doesn't it kind of do the same, like, well, not the same thing, but doesn't this just do something you like better? And if you added in a Chilmaw, why not just add in a N'Zoth at that point? It turned this into like a N'Zoth Dragon hybrid, right? Because you'd have Tyrion and you'd have Chilmaw, 2 really good N'Zoth minions. That'd be it, but sometimes that's all you need is 2 really big taunts. But you could also just cut the Dragon Consorts and like throw in an Onyxia, throw in a Ysera, throw in an Afarian. Like, there are or actually, throw in an Alexstrasza. It gives you another win condition. That when you get those sort of medium-sized boards with a few 5-attack minions, suddenly Alexstrasza can just win you the game. You can take him from 30 to 15 and hit for 15 and it's over. And she's yet another heal in your kit. So, I don't know. I might just cut the Dragon Consort for Alexstrasza or another late-game dragon of some sort. So, not my favorite card. But all in all, I still like this list a lot. I think Kibler's a very smart guy and he knows what he's doing. So, I would trust his list. Perhaps we just didn't get the kind of game that makes Dragon Consort feel good yet. All that said, that's going to do it for me and this Netherspite Dragon Paladin by Kibler. If you have any thoughts or comments, you know where to share them. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.